Welcome to the This Week in the Tech Boy podcast. So much has happened this week in tech, and of course, we have to get to what we were going to talk about last week, but then we had to go remote. So let's get into this today. Samsung Galaxy has officially released One UI 7.0 beta, and this is what there you go. You guys can finally see it on the screen. This is what it looks like. As you can see on the screen, we have some widgets here. They move the notification to the top left, top right if you're looking on the screen. And once you tap into the clock, again, you see that the widgets are gone. So what does this have to mean for Samsung? Also, there's this new this generation thing that's going on, and it's a problem inside of Grok. And Mr. Who's the Boss released a new video today, so of course we have to react to that. And there's also some internet culture type things that are going around, so of course we have to talk about those things as well. But first, let's talk about Samsung Galaxy One UI 7, and I released an article about that today. Samsung Galaxy One UI 7 is in beta. I think the beta is full now, so you cannot get it unless you already have it. Samsung Galaxy One UI 7. Um, Kind of looks like a toy, kind of. If you'll see some of the screenshots, but it does bring some innovative features to the display of the phone. I do like how it has Samsung 120 hertz can now be used in power saving mode, so that's good. So my phone will always be in power saving mode. Hopefully, it does improve the battery life. I haven't really seen anything like that, but Samsung One UI 7 broke my phone to a million beautiful pieces. So let's go over what I like and what I don't like. All right, what I like. The UI is not as bad as I thought it would be. Um, this is what it looks like. It it does look very punchy, but it does look good. I do like that it has a vertical app drawer, but I don't like that it forces you to use it as of now. Also, the notifications are also bigger, so they're easier to tap into. But I still haven't found a way to. I still haven't found a way to clear them all from the lock screen. Speaking of the lock screen widgets are gone, unfortunately, as well as edge panels. Now, lock screen widgets did get moved over, but they cannot be used from the lock screen unless they're locked itself. So it's unless your phone is already unlocked. So that's kind of useless. All right. Now, the edge panels, we still have edge panels on the screen, like you can see them, but the problem is that they will no longer be supported. So what you have is what you get, and that's really sad. It's one of the sad removed features that Samsung has, and it goes into this bigger thing of removed features, which honestly Samsung should not be removing features. I was going through reading old smartphone reviews, and I was seeing this feature, and it's just still kind of on the S Pen, but I can't use my S Pen right now because it's broken. I need to get it fixed. But I digress. The Samsung Galaxy S5 had this mode. Remember, the S5 did not have an S Pen where you could point your finger over it and it would hover it. So kind of like a cursor. Your finger would become a cursor. Of course, that doesn't exist on Samsung phones anymore. Micro SD card slots don't exist on Samsung phones anymore. Lots of features. Heart rate scan doesn't exist on Samsung phones anymore. And I must say that one of the most useful ways to one of the most useful ways to transfer files and also use your phone on the bigger screen without having to use Wi-Fi or anything like that. So not linked to Windows, but Samsung DeX on PC. They removed the Mac, but I mean, most people who have Samsung phones use Windows computers. But they removed support for DeX on PC on One UI 7. So if you want that, it's gone, which is very sad. I don't like that Samsung removed some features too. I would like them to bring back this feature from One UI 5 point something beta that got removed in the stable release, which would be multi-user accounts. Multi-user accounts would be very nice to have on device. Especially having a guest account. I'd also like Samsung to get their Good Lock modules fixed and move the vertical app drawer back to Good Lock where it belongs. Um, the vertical app drawer here is nice and it's alphabetical. You can do some things with it, and they have consistently added the search bar towards the bottom of the screen in all the screens, including the settings screen. So that's useful. But I like the horizontal app board, and with this being feeling a lot more fluid, even when transferring from apps in and out of secure folder, it feels great. Also, I have not seen any of the secure folder glitches where it would open applications even without me having to unlock secure folder, so that is great. Though more testing is needed. There was also a glitch where it does display every Wi-Fi network. I don't think the Wi-Fi network at this house is one you is Wi-Fi 5. Nor do I think the network at school is is Wi-Fi 5. It's displaying every Wi-Fi network that I connect to as Wi-Fi 5, even when it's not, or even when it's Wi-Fi 6. Speaking of Wi-Fi, the new allow it to block 2G and 2G connections and auto that's not secure, so that is a good thing, and I do like that. Now, in terms of new features overall, the AI from One UI 6 to One UI 7 beta is exactly the same. It just has a new redesign. So when you tap into the keyboard, you can see you have writing style, spelling, and grammar, and composer, and the animations are better. But it seems like it's the same speed to me as well. But the Samsung Gallery is allowing you to create collages however you want to without needing to use the thing. Yeah, I'm seeing this. Yes, this letting me build however you want to without having to use the templates that they provide for you, so that's nice. Also, it did allow for some better backgrounds. Um, what else? Oh yeah, the camera has improved controls. So if you want to, oh my camera bar is gone, so I need to find it. Yeah, the camera has now improved controls. Um, dang it, no. There. Has improved controls towards the bottom. So I don't know if you guys like that, but that's what it is now. So all the controls are set towards the bottom, except for the including the controls. Actually, if you tap into here to change the settings, it's still 12, 50, and 200 megapixels on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now you may be noticing on the screen here that we now have bigger folders, and you can see that there's 8 applications listed on the folder. You can tap in, and there's some more on here onto the swipe. So that's nice. You can basically fit 8 applications into what, I don't know, 2, 3 applications would fit in. So it's good for his home screen efficiency. Um, and am liking this new pill style design. You can see on this battery indicates the phone. And wow, we already have 9 people watching. Oh, there we go. Back. However, unfortunately, this design is also, oh, it's back. They fixed it. Samsung Galaxy Direct fixed. It can now support 4 contacts. A few days ago, it only supported 2 contacts, so that's a good glitch they fixed right now. The contacts application is the exact same. The animation's really, really good. I am liking this. It's not perfect, but it's really good. Um, so yeah, One UI 7 might be one of the most important updates of the time of all time for Samsung. Of course, we still got kids mode on here. You can move around the notification panel. You can move your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth controls around. If you want to, just edit into the panel. You can change the audio. Mute that. Okay. So yeah, it's a really important update. I am missing my good lock module. As you can see, it's just all buttons. It's only 3 buttons. I'm not going to switch to widgets anytime soon. But it used to be 5 buttons. I had a camera button on there and then a button that could launch some other things there. But hopefully that comes back on Good Lock. If it doesn't, then maybe I can switch out the navigation buttons and switch to gestures and then have a navigation button overlay. So in terms of lost features, only lost a few. Hopefully the battery life gets better. It's saying that full charges will now last 23 hours and 45 minutes, almost a full day. So that's good. Over in power saving mode, I haven't really seen that, but how the heck did voice recorder use 5% of my battery? Huh. Also, 120 hertz is on the Samsung device, even when it's in power saving mode. So that's good. So I'm actually going to read out to you all the power saving mode options. I think this is important. So we have a limit CPU speed to 70%. Turn off the always on display, which my always on display is off. That saves about an hour left of battery with the battery, so that's good. Decrease brightness by 10%. Set motion smoothness to standard. You can turn that on. or off now, set to screen time out to 30 seconds, which doesn't really matter because my screen time out, I think it's already been set like that already. Um, and yeah, oh, and also turn on dark mode, which dark mode it's already turned on. And last but not least, Bixby. Bixby seems faster already, so I'm actually gonna do it. And as soon as I say her name, it actually pops up on the screen. So I'm actually gonna say it here, and I'm gonna lean into the microphone. So I'm gonna say what command do you guys want? Anyone in the chat? Nope, no blue dot. Okay, I'm just gonna say to take a selfie. So it's gonna take a selfie of the screen, and you'll see how much faster it seems. All right. All right, and look, I'm not touching any of the buttons. This is just via voice. Bixby, take a selfie. And you see how fast it opened the camera application? Um, it was already listening like before it pulled up, so that when I said it's wake word Bixby, it was already and see it was already running. Also, the new UI is great, but unfortunately, the LLM support has not come to it yet. So there's no new LLM support for it. It's not the smart Bixby that Samsung displayed over on the Samsung Galaxy W series of devices over in China and South Korea. I think it was in South Korea. I'm not sure. Speaking of experimental phones, Motorola um, has, and I don't know why people like this a lot, but Motorola has some type of Pantone exclusive cell phone with that. I think it's China only, so of course I'm not going to be getting it. But if you guys can see this on the screen, this is the Motorola Pantone X, and it's Pantone is this color that kind of like sets different colors. And this phone here, it is a special type of brown, and it's actually a folding phone here. It's in the lefty. It has the dual cameras there, and I mean, what do you guys think it looks like? It's actually two different phones here. This is a non-folding, like regular slab smart. They're obviously folding smartphone. They're Motorola's folding smartphones are actually pretty good. I've gone hands on on them. I don't know anything, but I've gone hands on them with the Samsung at different stores, T-Mobile store. Um, let's see what else we have in our notes today. Oh yeah, SSA LTW is going to be continuing. We also have a very very special announcement to talk about for that series as well. It's going to be something physical. That's what I'll say. And it's almost out. I completed the project, and it's almost out. It should be out maybe by next week. Check your Amazon listings, check your Kindles. Guarantee will be out before Christmas. All right, so a special SSA LTW announcement coming out there. Also, we're going to keep the website going after this is continuing. And also I guess maybe next episode, maybe this episode, I don't know. But some people need to get slammed. I mean, I'm sorry. Some people need to get slammed. Unfortunately, I forgot to write down who deserves the slamming. So once we figure that out, they will also get slammed. Oh, I remember who needs to get slammed. Then let's go over to our pinned let's go over to pinned post here. I need to just pull up something. There we go. Right, so let's see something here. So I know this guy likes to go around and yell, and, he's important, but uh, sometimes he hits things wrong, and he said that, and I quote, this is a direct quote. So let me see if I can find it. Let's not show it on the screen yet. But quote. There are way too many podcasts, which is true, but I need to find some more podcasts. So if you guys know any podcasts, let me know. Good podcasts. I like the LOL podcast, which is actually number three on the Spotify charts, right? But they're behind some very important podcasting people, I'm sure. The number three on the charts, which is really impressive, seeing as it's a like teen comedy podcast, I guess. Anyway, Back to the post. Where way too many podcasts have proposed a new law where once every year the bottom 50% in every genre, according to Spotify charts, which I guess kind of excludes me because I'm not on Spotify. Because in order to get on Spotify, you'd have to upload each and every one of those episodes to Spotify itself. So I guess I'm just a YouTube podcast. So I guess I'm exempt, but I want to be on Spotify, which would then make me like bottom 1%, well, bottom 99%, depending on how you look at the chart. Anyway, I'd be very, very low. Like right now, we only have 13 people live listening, and I'm pretty sure that ticker is off. Like I'd be definitely in the bottom 50%. So this is basically, him calling for that the podcast top 50% of the podcast are shut down and their hosts banned from ever producing any content ever again. Now, if that would be true, wouldn't that make the like top 50% just half themselves until like the number one podcast in the world is just remaining? So there's just one podcast, one national podcast, uh, like NPR, I guess, National Public Podcast, NPP. Um, Another idea is that the bottom 50% of hosts are executed via a firing squad to dissuade people from starting podcasts frivolously and provide fun incentive for the rest of us, which I'm not sure how much fun that would be for me. I guess it'd be fun for people over the like top 1% of podcasts. Let's see what the top five podcasts on, and then we'll get to my response because this is wrong. Okay, this is let's see the top 5 podcasts in America. I don't know if it's just in America. I have literally never heard of these podcasts. But anyway, these are the top podcasts. Oh, in the United States, via Spotify. So I guess if you are a Rumble exclusive, then I guess it doesn't matter. All right, anyway, the Joe Rogan Experience, number 1. Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey. Kylie Kelsey. Wait. Oh, that's who the response is. So his response, he was mad that Kylie Kelsey, which is related to one of the Kelseys, started a podcast, and now she's number 2. So I guess that rant was for nothing. Extra Duty by Haley Batchelor? Don't know who that is. Sean Ryan Show. Crime Junkie. Now, what happened to the LOL podcast? They were number 3, like a few days ago. Maybe they're number 2 comedy? No? Okay. Is there a world filter? Why is the United States at the bottom? Like, that's literally where 50% of your audience is. Oh, maybe it's on kids. Dang. That's impressive. Top 3 and everything. So apparently the LOL podcast fell off in one episode. So that's unfortunate for them. But LOL podcast is still pretty high. You know what we don't see on here, and what we won't see on here if we keep scrolling down way down to top 100. The Tech Boy on here. Unfortunately, that's not on the podcast. So I do not want this fate to happen to me. This is why I said you should be tied to an elephant and drug for 100 meters, even though this is the United States. I guess that's about 300 feet in freedom units, but whatever. It's tied to an elephant. Dong falls on you. The Beatles pick you up and throw you into said canyon. And whoever wins, like it should just be with the top 50 podcasters. All right, the bottom 50% of podcasters. Should agree with that. Quiet, Bixby. Should agree. So if the bottom 50% of podcasters all start a poll and they agree, either A, this is what happens to them if they all vote on this, or B, then I guess we all meet our fates and are ended, and it's over for us. We have our podcast careers shut down. Which I'm not really sure how you're supposed to create a podcast, and this is really interesting from a guy who if you go back and search for old episodes of his podcast, he recorded in the back of a car. Okay, so I'm not really sure that people who podcast record from iPhone 6s on a car really would count as top 50%. So if you're not in the top 50%, that it's over for you. I guess not, because I mean he was able to make it to top 50, and he'd obviously be in the top 50%. So I don't know, like maybe this would be some type of grace period for them, or just don't join Spotify and always stay on YouTube, and then I guess you're exempt from this because there wouldn't be any data for that as well. All right, now let's go to the Mr. Who's the Boss video, and you guys can vote in the comments. Would you rather my podcast be permanently ended, or you guys get some entertainment, all the 50%? So that's it. But Mr. Who's the Boss built the dream smart bedroom. Hopefully you guys can see this on the screen. He also built the dream office setup. We didn't go through that. Also, the best smartphones of 2024. We need to go through that. I'm not really sure if we want to go to the dream smart bedroom. I mean, all he does, he actually buys, and this, I'm not kidding, an iPad M4 Pro, the most expensive iPad that money can buy. The most expensive iPad. I think it might be the biggest iPad too. He buys that so that he can watch TV before bed, which is crazy. Like that's a lot of money just to watch TV. But I mean, honestly, it's kind of showing how like app development is going down when we're just using basically iPads for Disney Plus and Netflix when they have so much power. Like M4, when you could have bought, I don't know, M2, maybe even a 12X, ZX. I mean, it does not take that much power to run Disney Plus on Netflix. I know the screen quality might not be as good, but if he's just watching it, of course, on dim when his wife is reading on Kindle, which is somehow, like you said, on 12th edition, which is really interesting because, like, after the 6th edition, I mean, what more could you add to a Kindle? Not the Kindle Fire tablets, which are decent, but, have terribly low specs and, are running a very locked down, stripped down Fire OS, which is how they're able to sell them for such a low price. But like the Kindle, just the book reader, like, well, it's black and white. It reads books. Okay, you want a color edition, and you can have an e-ink screen, pencil. That's good. That's great. Speaking of e-ink, there's a new company with the QWERTY phone that wants to be minimalist. It's e-ink. It's a smartphone, and I'm going to look into it. It's probably overpriced, just like the Light phone. The Light phone is extremely overpriced. We've gone into that multiple times. Like, there's no reason why a phone that would get laughed at in 2007 should be retailing for $799 on the promise of digital detox. Anyway, here we go. The best phones of 2024, and I think you guys are going to be surprised. Spoiler: no iPhones, not a single iPhone wins. And wait. One iPhone does win the award. I think it's the iPhone 16. One iPhone does win an award. All right, there we go. Here we go.
Did you just pay with PayPal?
Yes, it keeps my info safe, even at this shady lemonade stand.
What are you calling shady, mister?
Oh, like this is fresh squeeze. Give me a break, Logan. I want to pay with you everywhere. Don't just pay. PayPal.
2024 is the year that AI has taken over the smartphone world. It feels like that's all every company wants to talk about.
AI, the AI.
Didn't Google say it like 120 times?
Galaxy AI.
AI. See where it's made a big difference, where it's made no difference
Look at those camera bumps too. I mean, honestly, S24 Ultra looks like it has the slimmest camera bump out of all these Vivos and Xiaomi phones. Even the iPhone looks like it has a huge camera bump. Tyler Tech calls it a stove camera bump because it's square, and in each of the circles it would be the burners.
All, and we're actually going right back to basics. Has paid off even better. Welcome to the best smartphones of 2024.
All right, let's see. Best smartphones of 2024. I've only used one of them, so we'll see.
While we're at it, also the worst smartphones that you should. We've got 10 categories, and it's all leading up to the one true overall champion. So, given that 2024 has been a total AI arms race, who is actually winning that race? Well, as far as Apple is concerned,
they don't count because Apple Intelligence isn't here yet, and it is in beta. So if you did download it, but that doesn't count. Like I wouldn't say that the features present on my phone really count for the general population, seeing as like only a few people and a few certain countries got it. Also, you have to get in at the right time. It's gone now. It's locked. So yeah, those don't really count.
Most of their AI features are absent, especially in Europe, and the few that are here are
Yeah, especially
good.
since the EU, which honestly thinks they can interfere with cell phones for some reason. Like that's, I mean, you barely work as it is. Stop trying to interfere with cell phones. But they have these obscene data privacy laws. Oh, we need to talk about that. Thanks. I need to write that down. The stupid social media laws that are coming to the United States and Australia, which not financial advice, but totally financial advice. I guess it's time to start investing in VPNs because Australia thinks it has banned. I mean, it didn't, but it thinks it has banned social media for teenagers under the age of 16. Also, it's not, going to be illegal for said teenagers to use said site. So they could just, I don't know, pretend to be in another country like the United States of America for free or for a few dollars with the VPN. Which now there was some type of court ruling that said that TikTok can be banned in the United States on January 19th unless they divest and sell to a US owner like Microsoft or Oracle or something like that, which fine decision. But if they don't do that, then, like I said in my article I wrote almost a year and a half ago, all they're going to do is just launch their own VPN service, and it's going to be even worse because instead of just intercepting, TikTok traffic comments and creating a profile, and maybe like having embedded ads or anything going to China, then a bunch of kids are going to be downloading these VPNs. This is what I think will happen and well, there goes your entire traffic through the phone, everything, except for like text and calls. But most kids don't even text and call like traditionally, like need a SIM card slide anymore, especially on iPhone, which, because of the EU's ridiculous decisions, are now going to start being opened up to people who have never ever sideloaded an application in their lives. Like let's say you go up with an iPhone, you get the iPhone 6S, and you get the iPhone 10R, and you get the iPhone 14 or 15. Like none of these kids, 15, 16, 17, have ever sideloaded an application in their lives. You go look into the app stores, you can go see Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, and then the preloaded applications of phone dialers, messages, and things like that. But they don't even have to talk to people who have Android cell phones because iMessage is so integrated within the iPhone that you can actually use an iPhone, like totally use it. You can FaceTime, you can even text people without a phone number. So some of these people don't even have or pay for phone numbers, and of course you can get phone numbers for free nowadays. So all this traffic will be going through TikTok VPN servers, which would pretend that your phone is in China. What the heck? What happened to the door handle? Anyway, which would then pretend that your phone is in China, and or probably not Europe because the European Union is ridiculous. So might route your phone through like Antarctica, some country in Africa, just some country doesn't have these ridiculous laws, and great, now they have all your data, and it's going to China instead of a Wi-Fi country, which, like I said in an episode of a few, might have been months, maybe even a year ago, like I said, it doesn't matter where your data is going. Like you say, oh well, you see Google and Snapchat are doing the same thing. I'm like, I don't really care because I trust the United States government and all the 5 companies, Canada, New Zealand, Australia. Australia. You got declared war on like twice. You lost a bunch of emus. So I don't know if I trust my data over there. I mean, you might have hackers just, I don't know, waltz right in. But for the time being, in those countries, more than I trust them in, say, China, which obviously makes the most sense. But if they're going to just start launching VPNs, well, it's game over because there's no way that you're going to ban, TikTok, possession of TikTok for teenagers. That doesn't make any sense. If they did that, like half the country would be in jail, and that would not be a good thing to have half the country, especially in jail. I'm just saying that wouldn't be a good thing. All right. Anyway, back to the video.
Good, but not enough to ignore that feeling of, is that it?
That's kind of sad. I mean, all right, let's actually try something right here. This is he's trying to erase, I believe, the iPhone from the image. Right, there we go. I'm gonna take my own picture. I'm going to
And the
use
few that are
Samsung's
here are
magic eraser. Oh, he has to move his finger out the way.
good.
Oh no, there we go. He's trying to remove the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold. So I'm gonna take the picture and let me log in here. This takes a long time. There should be a way that you can type in like I don't know a 10, like a shorter like 10 or 15-digit password, and then have a fingerprint unlock like dual biometric. So like someone doesn't come into you in your sleep and try to like force your finger onto your phone and unlock it and stuff like that. But just a shorter password, maybe like just numerical, and then you can have fingerprint like dual biometric. There is a way where you can have as many fingers as you want on the device, but maybe have dual fingers, which would be kind of interesting for a plot of a spy movie. Like you need dual fingers, open it, so you can't have kill both people. Anyway, so I have the image here now. It's not as good because it's taken off the screen. I'm going to use Samsung's AI. I'm not going to use the offline version of the image eraser. I'm going to erase it in the same spot that he's erasing it. We're erasing the Galaxy Z Fold. It's not detecting as much as I'd like it to. Maybe I have to turn off magnetic lasso. Let's see. Leave. Edit. Oh. Yes, he keeps detecting the entire iPhone that the screen is on as a thing. So let me try something. I'm actually going to zoom in because it's thinking that the iPhone is its own phone, which is true. So I'm going to take the image. I'm going to crop into it. Because what I would need is the full, raw image of the device, which, of course, we don't have because, Mr. Boss probably didn't expect people to do this. So I'm just going to crop in. It's not as good. I'm going to save it as a copy so it doesn't think that, it doesn't try to, yeah, there we go. All right, so I've selected around the phone. I need to just get inside that camera bump as well, get the extra gray. All right, and now I'm going to remove it, erase, and generate. And let's see how well the generation on Samsung side from a bad image copy looks better from, looks different from the iPhone's magic eraser as well. Also, well, it seems like Samsung's magic eraser, instead of removing it, tried to replace it with its own iPhone lookalike, which doesn't look as good. But here's what the iPhone does. Come on. What's wrong with the internet here?
But not enough to ignore that feeling of, is that it? I'd say Google's AI is better. I love some of the photography stuff that the Google Pixel's got going on. Like, that zoom enhance feature that's practically just an upgrade button for your shots. And I thought Gemini Live, this instant free-flowing AI chat, was kind of amazing.
Yeah, and Gemini Live, I mean, it looked great in the commercials. Some people don't like it, but that's whatever. There's some people whining about Coca-Cola using AI in their Christmas commercial because, they have stuff to whine about, I guess. And yeah, Gemini Live is decent, but it is slower than it does appear in the commercials. And Mr. Ross makes a point that ChatGPT has it, though ChatGPT's voice isn't that good. Also, it has finally come to computers too, so now you can yap to your computer on a web browser, not using any computational power.
But then ChatGPT has now just started doing the same thing, and
also, yeah, Gemini Live is like on my phone too, so like that's not really exclusive to Google. That's the problem with Google. They always try to tout these exclusive features, and 3 months later they have put them behind some paywall, and anyone can use it. I'm a Google One subscriber, so anyone can use it, and then it's free. So now Google Photos even has Magic Eraser. It's not as good. It's more stringent than Samsung Magic Eraser, which whatever. But I mean, it's free, so there's literally no reason for me to get a Pixel.
In my experience, that's better. And so ultimately, takes it. Samsung AI came out first. It was already pretty interesting, and they've only made it more stable and given it more options.
It's a weird-looking balloon. Though I do like that you can change the colors. I do like you can draw, but I wish you could draw more on faces as well.
Since then, like, I have used some of their stuff, like the live text translations, on a day-to-day basis. So, given that the S24 Ultra is Samsung's kind of hero device this year, this trophy has that phone's name on it. I'm actually so happy with how these turned out. Can you see how this isn't just a flat photo of the phone too? We actually went.
I mean, look at how my phone is in 3D right there. So this is my phone. It just won an award. First phone to win an award, and it's my phone right there. So congratulations to my phone as well. This is the phone. You can see it. And unfortunately, my phone is about to become old in a few months as well. So this is the best that Samsung has to offer for a few months. I'm excited for the S25 though. It's gonna have some flat sides instead of these curvy ones. So I thought I was gonna like these curved sides a little bit because it'd be easy to hold. But I use my phone in the case all the time, especially since the angles here. I mean, I literally cut wood with my phone on podcast stream before. So, I think it's nice that it's going to be rounded off as well. I hope the phone can still stand up by itself. So that would be nice if the phone can stand up by itself, though. I guess, I won't be able to test that in Samsung store because it's going to be locked down on the string, which I guess doesn't matter because I saw a video of someone walking into an Apple store and stealing 50 iPhones and ripping them right out of their display cases. So, but that was in California. Wait a second. No, because, wait a second. Technically, it's a misdemeanor in California only if you steal over $950 worth of merchandise. Though, if the phone's on display, I guess it's not being sold. So, I guess they don't count that as theft because of nothing, technically. Okay. I don't know why no one tackled him. There was a police car right outside the door. So, and he stuffed like 50 phones in his pocket. Maybe they just wanted to trace him or something, which would be even more fun. Anyway, back to the display case.
We went and got the full 3D model of every phone here, laser etched into these trophies, front, back, and sides, just like my hair.
I wonder how much money Mr. Who's the Boss has. Like he sent his team off on a 5-day retreat in the woods, bonding retreat in the woods. His videos, you see it in his house building videos. He spends £60,000 or dollars. Doesn't really matter. For a mattress, one mattress, and he still has to buy 2 other mattresses, not from the same company that only cost less. For the other beds, he pays I think almost $1 million for his just his theater room. So that entire house has to be at least $3 million US, which is insane. Of course, the phones here are all free, thankfully.
5% cash on whatever category I choose.
Love the PayPal ad. Mute that. All right, so yeah, Mr. The Boss is doing such a great job. Also, congratulations to him getting 20 million YouTube subscribers. So I think he's over Mr. MKBHD. And Linus Tech Tips is more of a business. So they have like multiple channels spread out all over the place. MKBHD does that as well, but those channels only have a couple 100,000 subscribers, so they kind of would probably round up to 21,000, maybe 20,000.
The most improved phone this year has a very obvious answer. So last year, Google released what looked an awful lot like an off-season April Fool's joke with the Google Pixel Fold.
Hey, Google's good at April Fool's jokes. Gmail released April 1st, 2004. Now, I know some people like Weinberg actually like the design of this phone. They're saying that this is good. Some people are saying that the bezels, it's good because it's easier to hold and how it splits your attention right down the middle, right down the other. Also, it's kind of weird. Like, wow, TikTok right at the bottom, right at the center of the phone screen. That could turn into a lesson. Hey, guys, look, TikTok's at the center of your life. Jesus, could be at the center. Anyway, you can have the applications, running side by side. I like that the crease kind of split it. And I was doing some editing today. I was on a project. That could happen. All right, anyway.
Screen bezels and crease for this price, and the thing barely even folded flat when you opened it. Unsurprisingly, this was one of the worst phones of 2023. Oh my god, I actually forgot how bad this crease was.
Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, I think it's a plastic screen, so it's reflecting light like crazy.
But this year, the new Google Pixel 9 Ultra is, well, it's infinitely better at everything, apart from the name. Like, What is this? The software's come a long way, as you'd expect, between a Gen 1 and Gen 2 product, and they've actually justified paying the extra to buy a foldable this time. But also the hardware, the crazy bezels are...
I mean, look at the aspect ratio. It's totally different. Also, the camera, it's somewhere in those bezels. But now it's over on the far right top corner, or I guess if you flip it, you can go any corner you want it to.
Are gone, it's thinner, it's lighter, it's brighter. If someone were to tell me they went out and bought this thing, I wouldn't be holding in a laugh anymore. And that is a compliment. I like
Though I guess some people do not like the camera bar design. I mean, it looks like two pills stacked on top of each other, and then you have a useless... Like, you could have put a fifth camera right here. I mean, you could have tried something. Light or Essential or something. I mean, I want some good 3D mapping applications offline to come to Android. That would be so nice. All right, anyway, back to the Pixel.
And as usual, if any company wants these awards, just message us and we'll send them. And now we're on the subject.
I wonder if they could get impersonated, like if Samsung got impersonated and they still got an award. It'd be kind of funny.
Foldable phones? What's the best foldable in ever? Well, honestly, I'm kind of bummed about this. Last year, we saw something special with the OnePlus Open. A foldable with zero camera compromise, amazing battery, and software that actually made even people who'd completely written foldables off reconsider.
I think I got to play with that once in T-Mobile.
Not upgrade it this year. Well, they kind of did. They made this OnePlus Open Apex Edition, which does sound very storage. It has a dedicated VIP security chip, which can quickly cut an app's access to your camera and microphone, and this...
Did they really need a chip for that, though? Like, I think sometimes they just put stuff in there to try to upsell you, because there's no reason you need an extra chip just to cut access to your camera and microphone. Like, my phone does that already right now. For free, actually. It came as part of a software update.
This fancy new red color, but it's powered by last year's chip. It's really hard to recommend that you pay.
I mean, that doesn't really matter since, they haven't really brought many things over, Like, I wanted to play with some of those Snapdragon projects, but you have to be a developer to use them, and I don't know how to code them into actual applications. Like, last year's chip versus this year's chip, even though the people who buy these things are probably gamers or, like, pros, but, I mean, if you're going to buy that for $1,717 and you're a gamer, I mean, you might as well just buy a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch. Well, I guess the Steam Deck would be more powerful. Nintendo Switch is wimpy. But, like, what else are you going to do with the chip? Unless you're, like, a secure LumaFusion video editor tape or anything, which, I mean, could make sense. You can just take as your teleprompter, you can use it as your camera, you can use it as your scripting machine. So if you just go all in on that, you don't really have a computer, I guess that could work.
Pay full whack pricing this year for something that really should be heavily discounted by now. And so I spent quite a lot of time deliberating.
Oh yeah, but it's in the nice red color. It's a exclusive. They're not really, discount exclusive. So just get the green one.
Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, eventually deciding that it's just personal preference between the two. The Pixel is thinner and it feels a bit more like a normal phone when folded.
Yeah, but look at that hinge. It looks like a door hinge on that thing that you just put inside the case. It kind of reminds me of that case where they want the dual screen case of some Indiegogo or startup project. It didn't get off the ground. It Castaway case. Like, man, Chrome OS, you can put your phone in it. And it kind of had a hint. It was like those LG folding cases, which I would totally buy if they worked with my phone. But I don't have an LG phone, and I'm not going to go back in time and buy a 4-year-old LG phone to play with it to, I guess, downgrade my phone too. But it doesn't look as polished as it could be. Like, I mean, come on, sand off those edges or something. But I mean, I guess it looks fine and it would feel better in the hand. Anyway. Back to the Z Fold.
Folded, and then the Samsung has about 50% more power. But
I mean, that's nice again, but I have to explain what applications which are going to be used under that power. DeX is a useful and interesting feature. And I wish they would bring DeX to the outer screen of the display. I mean, DeX is on. DeX is on. I think it's on 9-inch tablets, isn't it? I don't have a producer that I'm looking at, so they can't tell me. But I think Dex is on 9-inch tablet. This is basically a 7.6-inch, almost 8-inch tablet. They can do it. They can fix Dex on it if they want to. I mean, they literally had Linux on Dex running on the Tab S4, which I really, really wanted a few years ago, but I didn't get it. Until they took it away for some reason. It's so sad. It's so sad. It's really sad when Samsung removes these features like heart rate counter, micro SD card slot. I was actually fixing up a Samsung Galaxy S21 FE, and so I was like, "Oh, I can put my card in there." I was like, "Unfortunately, no, you can't do that, because they took the feature away for some reason. You know, the Edge panels over on One UI 7, they took away standard Android feature in terms of, multi-user control and guest mode, which is honestly ridiculous. I mean, it's on Windows. I mean, don't iPhone my Samsung. Of course, I'm not going to switch over to iPhone unless they put Android on it. Then I guess. I mean, the EU could force them to do that, honestly, which would be kind of funny. I wouldn't support the decision, but if they did that, then I'd go out and buy an iPhone.
Neither of these phones are actually taking home the trophy. So funny story, I actually did some very detailed testing until I decided which one won. I got as far in the process as to actually make a trophy saying that the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 was the winner. But that's because there was one phone that I hadn't tested until that point, and that is the Honor Magic V3. I got this thing a couple of weeks ago.
Look how slim that is.
Well, we won't be needing this anymore. For starters, this thing is so pretty. The faux leather back, the textured trim on the spine, it's got small bezels on both the outside and
notice those bezels. You see that thing? Now, I probably wouldn't buy an Honor phone. Like, they did split it off from Huawei. I mean, you can't get them here in North America if you direct order because they're not sanctioned. But I'm not sure. Like, also the software situation might be stuck in Chinese, which I'm not going to circle to search everything to, read my own phone. I have asked them a few times for devices and no response. So, I definitely won't be getting an Honor phone unless they send me one. So, Honor, if you want to send me a phone, get to it. I'll even give you guys an award. If you guys pay me $100 million, I will use this phone for a whole week, actually, a whole week, and I'll declare it my phone of the week.
And the inside, basically no crease. Oh yeah, and the phone is paper thin. It really is a...
That's good, though. Like, what if it snaps in half? Like, what if it's so skinny like the iPhone 6 and, it gets sat on?
Spectacle. But then where this starts to get almost confusing is instead of that size reduction being achieved by chopping out everything on the inside, it's just better. This has got a far bigger battery than Samsung. It also has stylus support. It charges faster.
I hope Samsung starts bringing back bigger batteries. The Note 7 days are over. Also, what do you mean has wireless charging support? Samsung Galaxy Z Fold has wireless chargers.
They've even fit in a proper periscope zoom camera. The true winner of the foldable category. The only thing that's a little bit less developed is the foldable software.
Yeah,
Samsung can do a bit more with a little bit more polish. But this hardware feels so much better that, frankly, I don't really care. With these smaller flip phones, though, I think it's actually between Samsung and Motorola. I think
Motorola's that's probably one of the most popular phones. I've seen people actually use those phones. I do like how the screen is, a bit more full screen. Samsung is, for some reason, a bit more reined in. Though with some good log modules, you can fix it. So that's good. Also, I guess people like playing games on that. You have like little mazes you can play on it. I wonder how good the battery life would be. If I had a Z Fold, a Z Flip, I'd actually test it out. It would be a video. Using my Z Flip 5 or 6 in cover screen mode all day. It would be using a 3-inch phone all day. No unlocking. Well, I mean, I would unlock with the... Oh, dang. Typing in my password would be so annoying on that thing. Also, there's no internal fingerprint gun, so it's the fingerprint gun is on the side. It's on the power button.
I think Motorola's Razr Plus is actually the prettier phone. Like, the cover screen is more impressive.
Yeah, see, look at that maze thing. I think it's interesting. I wonder what it's called on the Play Store.
That they've thought more purposefully about what you can actually do with it. But ultimately, Samsung just has better fundamentals. It is the significantly powerful phone. Samsung's software skin is more reliable and you get way more updates. Plus, you get Samsung's very optimized image processing, which does also make
Speaking of images, we ran an article this week about how you can turn your images like this. They were standing up from the background into stickers and clips and things of that nature. So guys, go check it out on thetechboy.org.
better camera. Now, it's not just OnePlus who's bowed out this year, because the other iconic line of phones that's notably absent is the compact Asus Zenphones. And it seems...
Well, I mean, it was a good phone last year. It's going to be a good phone this year. Like, people who buy compact phones. Like, there's a very niche people who want compact, powerful, like, flagship phones. And all those people are on forums and, you know, they're not the general consumer. But people who want compact phones. It's mostly probably like women, maybe children, you know, people who have small hands. They're not really going to care that much about the, you know, specifications. Like, and you know how I know that? Because they're all using like iPhone 13 minis or something like that. So they're not really going to care about the specs. So just give it again to the Zenfone 9. Let's use the Zenfone 9. It's going to have better specs than, say, an iPhone 12 mini or whatever.
Year after year, Asus release these super compact but high-end phones, and year after year people labeled them as the gold standard for their diminutive size. But I think the crux of it is this: when most people are shopping for a smartphone, the primary limiting factor is budget. We want to get the most product for that budget, but you can't do that if you're also working with a size constraint. The reason that the iPhone minis failed. So what's left then? Well, I really like the Samsung Galaxy S24. Very light, very small, all-round.
It's a good phone. Also, I hear the battery life is better, especially over the S22, which I heard had awful battery life.
Which, as we've seen, is the best. But the battery and the cameras, while solid, aren't great for this flagship.
I'm not really sure what they have against the cameras. I mean, it's the same cameras on the Ultra, except for the, you know, the extra zoom, which I guess they didn't want to fit into, you know, it's just it's the Ultra thing. It's also the same cameras over on the Plus. Though the screen technology on the Plus is slightly better, you do get QHD display, which is nice. I like seeing that come back to the Plus. It's pretty good.
Flagship tier. So then you've got the Google 9 Pro, which has good battery life and great cameras. Google's really...
Which I like that. I like that they brought, you know, a dedicated telephoto zoom camera to a smaller phone. That's good. It's good for Android. You know, it gives us a leg up over the iPhone. Actually to the iPhone now.
Neatened up their game in 2024, actually with their flagship phones. But I would go as far as to say that none of those beats the Xiaomi 14. Kind of reaching the limits of how far I can stretch with a suit this tight. This thing isn't quite as mini as the S24, but it's...
Look how big that camera pump is. I mean, it's taking up 60% of the fourth of the back of the phone.
Not far off. And it has top-notch cameras. It's just
also, it looks very, very fragile. I mean, I know it's not, but...
fun to shoot with because it doesn't feel like you're getting the sloppy camera seconds from the Ultra phone like it definitely does with the Samsung. Also, the battery does last a really long time for such a small phone. So, here it is on the plinth. Xiaomi did wow me.
5% cash back on whatever category I choose.
There we go. And you notice how I didn't complain that ad came up and talk about how YouTube is being annoying. But just skip the ads after they happen. People, stop being annoyed.
That's disgusting. Now, there are two things that I would flag. Software-wise, you get 4 years of software updates here as opposed to 7 on Samsung.
Which is fine. I mean, I guess it's for the resale market or if people don't pass that phone down to kids. Because we know most people hold on to their phone for 4 to 5 years and then they, you know, move on.
Not everyone loves Xiaomi's Hyper.
Yeah, that doesn't. Yeah, it reminds you of an iPhone. I don't like that. I'm so glad that Samsung didn't do that. You know, you can still have your combined notifications, which is better than on iPhones. I'm told.
Operating system. It does feel a little bit like a knockoff iOS, but if that doesn't matter to you, then it is fast and it is customizable. The second thing, though, is that
it had that animation there. It reminds me of Nova Launcher, how it can kind of like cube in and cube out.
Slightly awkward fact that Xiaomi has actually already made 15, but they just have this extremely delayed process getting those new phones to the West. But what if you just want a phone that lasts forever? Well,
I mean, I guess you could just have the Unihooch phone, which is a power bank with the screen attached to it, essentially.
2024 has actually been a particularly good year for this. Android 14 has improved basically every flagship phone's battery life by 10% plus, and Apple specifically made battery one of the key things they focused on with the iPhone 16s. But if you're asking who does it the best, then that would have to be Vivo. Now, I never got around to making a dedicated video on this bad boy, but let me tell you, Vivo's flagship phone for 2024...
It must be nice to just have a whole bunch of phones get sent to you and, not be able to get around to making videos of them. Like,
Vivo X is an absolutely mind-blowing phone. Its specs feel like a cut above the rest, and that's only amplified when you use the thing because it's so damn optimized. But I'm gonna talk more.
Hey, look at that! The chat application. Like, I know Google Messages. It's blue and teal.
More about this later. For the purposes of right now, just that this thing isn't one of those mediocre mid-rangers strapped to an absolutely bonkers-sized battery. It's an incredible phone in its own right with a 6,000 milliamp hour cell that actually uses
6,000 milliamp hours. It's insane.
That insane amount of juice very efficiently too. It's a pretty easy
Hopefully
one.
Samsung can get around to that. I mean, especially on the Ultra phones, which are 6.8, almost 6.9 inches. I mean, they're getting close to 7 inches.
For me. And I just want to mention while we're on the topic, there are two I could have done the whole trophy thing. And I spent on which one was the way to go. Because the thing is, Vivo is pretty tricky to buy in the UK and the US, which are 2 of our 3 top viewing regions. So some part of it was...
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be driving the smartphone market. I mean, he, in his other video, was talking about how he had his top countries, I guess, that he visited or liked. I was shocked that the US wasn't on there, seeing as like half the phones he gets come from there. He's also here a lot. He travels here a lot, for the tech events. But the theming was nice though. It didn't really remind me of the countries. Like the India theming, the flag is green and orange. Didn't really exude green and orange colors. Turkey, which is red. I didn't see any red in his theme anyway. But you guys can go watch the video. Tell me what you think about that.
I was thinking, should I just stick to rewarding the phones that you can easily buy and get your full customer support? Maybe, but eventually I decided that I don't see these videos as just a buying guide. This is an award ceremony. So eventually I decided...
I mean, I guess it makes sense, and as the only phones in the US that wouldn't be either Motorola, Samsung, Google. I guess some of those like rip-off Chinese phones you can get on Amazon, but they're not worth anything. Can you get Vivo phones on Amazon? Let's see, I don't think they're blacklisted from the United States. I'm not sure if I would use them personally, but let's see if we can get a Vivo phone here in Amazon. This is sent to Houston, Texas. So, okay. So when I type in Vivo, I get Desks, which is a different company. So not Vivo. This is some other Vivo company. Let's see if we can see Vivo phone. Let's see. Oh, we got them. All right. So the Vivo X100 Pro 5G says it's GSM only. Not Verizon or Sprint. China versus Google buy this thing, but we got the OnePlus Nord, not a Vivo, Motorola. Oh, you can actually get to see my phone here in the United States. That's nice. What's this? Huh. That looks interesting. It's a curved screen phone that has a 64 megapixel camera. This might be a knockoff. That has to be a knockoff. Let's get back to the video. But I'm gonna check into what this phone is. This has to be a knockoff. Because there's no way that this camera module is actually 3 cameras. Like who makes this? Oh, BLE. Okay. Let's see what the camera specs say. Because that looks good. I'm not sure about that CPU. I do like that it's curved though. I miss curved screens. Let's see, 64 megapixel camera, a depth sensor. Yeah, see, I knew it was fake. I don't even know why they have this huge camera bump on the back when there's like one camera. The depth sensor is useless. Okay, figure it out with AI. And a macro lens, which is trash. They don't even tell you how many megapixels it is because if they put 2 megapixels on there, they know no one's gonna buy it. So I don't recommend buying that. But back to the video. Nice rip-off design though. That's nice.
It would feel silly to not celebrate the phones and the innovation that I actually feel deserve it just because they're not made for certain markets. All right, final few categories now before we to the overall winners. And of course, tonight's big loser. What is the best phone for gaming? Can we get some RGBs in here? Well, I would say there's 3 runners-up. There's the obvious yearly phone from Red Magic, which is lost in the sea somewhere.
Imagine having so many phones on your desk. Like that. Imagine the dream. That's a $20,000 desk right there. But imagine having so many phones on your desk and you can't even find a really expensive gaming phone that has some really interesting achievements. I mean, look at those cameras. Probably not that good, but I mean, the cameras are flush with the body, which is taking us all the way back to 2014. The camera, I think, is invisible on the back, on the front, the selfie camera, so it's just all screen. Also has the best technology for gaming, which means it's good for useful stuff like video editing or whatever powerful apps you want to use that I don't know because they don't exist. But I mean, once someone makes them, they will exist. Also look at those buttons. You have a bright red button. You have some silver thing right here. So I mean, imagine. And you also, it looks like it supports 5G right there. There's 5G antennas too. So nice.
Which, like all Red Magic phones, has absolutely beautiful hardware, especially for the money, but they need to improve
look at
their...
that. Also, that wallpaper reminds me of Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra wallpaper. Really, really nice. Look at that. It has a selfie camera, no pop-up, not like the OnePlus 7, but you can't even see it until you turn it on. I mean, the camera quality is trash, but I mean, it does look good for social media, which I guess you would need someone else to take the picture for you. So, yeah, I guess it's just to show off the kid. Hey, kids, look, no camera.
Their software and their front camera before I can crown them the best. But then also the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. They both have really good screens, very fast chips, good cooling, basically all you need.
What games are those, though? Like we've been through multiple times on the top games on Android, on the Play Store. And I'm pretty sure you could play those on the Rabbit R1. Like those games are basically ad riddle digital crossword puzzles, pay to win, and yeah, that's it. I mean, we've reviewed some other games like some flying game or some ship game, but that's it. Like, please leave a list down below so we can test out what we have here.
For a flawless gaming experience in most cases. But there is a clear leader of the pack, if you so desire. It is the ROG Phone 9 Pro.
Asus getting in with the victory.
This has the brand new Snapdragon 8 Elite chip inside of it, which is top-end next-gen. I don't know quite how they got it in here so soon, but you can think of this as next year's flagship chip. It's like a proper 30% faster than the chips.
That's real interesting, that's real nice. Give an app list in which this would actually be beneficial. Like, people don't sit around playing with Geekbench all day.
The rest of these phones. But it's also, ROG have really mellowed out over the years. The software is less in-your-face gamer than it used to be, while actually hiding more gamer features than ever before. The design has got that cool gamer
Celsius. Put in freedom units.
Edge to it. Like, this pixel display is the best that they've done so far, without looking...
That's interesting. They used to have a full LCD display. What do you guys think? LCD or pixel display? That's obscure. I wonder if you could like type a message in there and kind of like show it.
Tacky. The cameras are the best they've ever been. You get a proper 50 megapixel main camera, a pretty good 3x optical zoom camera, and a serviceable ultra-wide camera. So if you do want to properly sink your teeth into mobile gaming, it's not close. This thing is amazing. My only slight beef is that they have had to tone down the speaker quality a bit from their old phones to make the bezels around the screen smaller. But we can't have everything. This is a banging phone.
I mean, I think bezels might actually be a good thing, especially for a gaming phone, so that it's easier to hold. Tablets still have bezels. That's the reason why we don't have, slates of glass just kind of lying around.
Okay, so that's gaming. What is the best camera of 2024? You would expect this to be easy. I compared what I thought with the 2 best smartphone cameras, the iPhone 16 Pro and Galaxy S24 Ultra, and I found that the iPhone won. So,
unfortunately.
iPhone, right? Well, that was before I tested the Vivo X200 Pro.
Vivo getting in the action again. I guess this is newer than the X100 Pro, unless their naming convention is trash.
This is, technically speaking, the iPhone is a fantastic camera. I don't think I've ever taken a photo or video on this thing thinking, that sucks. It shoots exactly what you think it's going to. But when I use this phone,
whoa, dang, he destroyed
that's not good. I promise these are really durable trophies.
5% cash back? Or whatever, every single month? And even more when I shop on...
All right, let's continue.
Okay, let's put what's left of this trophy on the plinth. We'll have to get a new one of these made. But the point I was making is, when I use this phone, it makes me feel like I can capture things that I never thought I could. It just bleeds.
This is a nice auto brightness thing, but I kind of updated right before I, so that's good.
Style. It's got a big main camera sensor. It's got a 200 megapixel zoom camera, which means you can get a lot closer to things than you think. An absolutely amazing portrait mode that makes you this as a career, and even the video quality is probably the best that I have seen on Android.
That is really good. Now, I know this is, not set to the absolute best settings of kill the Wi-Fi, but I mean, the video quality does look good. Skin tone looks good. His hair does kind of look a bit blurred out though. That could just because it's 480p.
So even though the phone is not as widely available as others, you got to give credit where credit's, or I guess in this case, broken trophies. I either want this in the West, or I want Western companies to be more like this. The only downside of shooting with Vivo, of course, is that you've still got to keep an eye on what you're shooting. You don't even need to do that with our sponsor, the Insta360 X4.
All right.
Because look at
There you go.
the X4, it's a free bullet time handle like this. All the subcategories, let's talk winners. So, the best budget phone of 2024.
Right, budget phones. Samsung's #1 selling phone is a budget phone. So these should be really good selling phones here in the United States and in the UK.
As per usual, there's been a billion of them. All the usual contenders. There's great phones from Redmi, there's great phones from Realme, great phones from Poco. But there's one phone that to me feels, and that is...
You see that OnePlus there with the dual camera? That's a really interesting dual camera setup.
the CMF Phone 1. Because here's the thing, it's got the spec.
What about he's calling budget? Yeah, because that is a budget phone. Is that like 200 something?
That you'd be lacking when you're using it, but it combines that with a pretty big practicality upside. The thing is modular, and it has an entire accessories just to go with it. And yeah, not in a super slick, everything's magnetic and wirelessly communicates kind of way, but it's the best it can be given the price, and it's far more than anyone else is doing. It means you damage your phone's back, you can just swap it out. You want to add in a phone stand, just screw one in.
It's probably unlikely that the phone back gets damaged. It's more likely that you just swap it out because you want to.
You want a wallet, you can have one completely secured to the rear of your device. Oh, really cool. But while the best mid-range phone was not. The best mid-range phone was
that
not.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I could think of was Xiaomi, Samsung, no, Google, OnePlus, oh, nothing. Anyway, there were a couple of options that were easier to eliminate, like the Google Pixel 8a, which is a little underpowered for what...
I've seen that's probably one of the best mid-range phones. I always like to recommend the Pixel A series phones. It's a good series of phones. Pixel 3a, I remember when that came out, the hype was insane.
You're paying doesn't have that great a battery.
The article was about the Pixel 4a over in 2020, so...
Just looks kind of bad for a 2024 mid-range phone with these thick and uneven...
I mean, it just looks like a mid-range phone. Like, you ask someone to draw a phone, that's what you get.
Even screen borders. The Nothing Phone 2 is, well, it's last year's phone, and they haven't made a Nothing Phone tricky because
but isn't the Nothing Phone 2 technically it's a flagship? It's the best the company has to offer, so it should be compared to the Galaxy S24 Ultra.
This phone, the OnePlus Nord 4, absolutely amazing.
It's OnePlus Nord 4. So, OnePlus Nord really updated the design. I think you can get that in the United here over on Amazon. I have not seen this in stores though. They have really changed the Nord brand. All right, let's see here. Okay, so you can get the OnePlus Nord N30 5G, which looks like a really interesting phone, but you cannot get the OnePlus Nord 4. Very sad. At least not on Amazon. You can get it on AliExpress, but no.
time since I've used a metal body phone. This thing takes me all the way back to TC1 days, and
What's interesting is metal body. Fortunately, I guess it means no wireless charging. Also, I like to see a reception test on that thing because the whole thing becomes a giant big conductor. And this is why when Apple made phones out of aluminum, which they might start switching back to, but with enough composite so that it has glass in it, so that you can have wireless charging. When Apple had aluminum, they had those big plastic bands. You guys go look at the back to iPhone 6, 6S, 7s, and you can see that they have those big plastic bands. And when they switched to glass for the iPhone 8, also iPhone 4 also had reception issues, but it was also glass, but also a metal frame. You have those big metal bands on them, but they take those. They didn't need those antennas anymore because the signals can penetrate through the glass better than it could through the metal. Also, this kind of disproves the whole 5G blocking sticker scam, which is insane. We've gone through that multiple times. But if your antenna can get through metal, if your signal can get through metal, which is a good thing, okay, it's weaker than the UV rays of the sun, so it's not going to kill you. If it can get through metal, then it can get through glass, and it definitely can get through your ridiculous sticker that someone sold you on Amazon that they told you had some type of ridiculous chip in it. We went through all the data, and they just basically invented their own studies on Shopify and then linked to it. So, guys, those stickers, those EMF radiation stickers, they're fighting a problem that doesn't exist, and B, even if they did exist, they don't work. So you got scammed. Also, what if a phone company just started sticking those stickers on the back of the phone? So are you guys gonna start trusting your phones now or whatever? Anyway, back to the metal phone.
Times. It's one of those phones that you pick up and you're just like, yes, you get it. This works. It's thin, it's light, it's fast. Pretty much everything about it feels.
That's like every. Hey guys, what do you want your phone to be? Well, I want it to be thin, I want it to be light, I want it to be fast, I want it to have good battery life. Okay. I mean, that's great. Thin, light, fast, good battery life, good cameras. Boom. You invented the perfect software.
Flagship. And it stands shockingly close to phones like the Samsung Galaxy S24 Plus, but at less than half the price. The only thing that puts me off giving it the trophy is that the ultra-wide camera is really quite soft, and there is no zoom camera. But genuinely,
it's sad, but to be expected. Also, the design, it's cute.
If this company had just invested another $30 in this camera system, this would have been my favorite phone for sure. So this ended up for me being a decision between the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE, which is Samsung's slightly scaled back S24 Plus phone.
All right, let's see what it can do. Let's see. I've looked at that phone. It looks nice. I want to see the price comparison of the Nord 4, powered by OnePlus Intelligence and AI. Okay. How much does it cost? Seven Gen 3. See, they put these bad mid-range esque chips on here, and they try to fake you out with 16 gigabytes of RAM for some reason. Which, why? How much does it cost? Maybe they're not going to tell me because I don't live there. All right, so you can see here. So you can get it for about $500, maybe $400. I've never heard of this store. It might be a scam. I'm not sure. $400 to $500. That's how much here in the United States of America. Now, an S24 FE cost $549. Samsung. It looks like the official price is $549. This is obviously not real. I mean, look at those icons. You think it would sell that? No. All right, back to S24 FE.
And the Xiaomi 14T, which is pretty similar. It's Xiaomi's mid-range equivalent to their flagship 14 series of phones.
Look at that software. Go away, Motorola ESC 2019. Look at those buttons. Fix it.
And honestly, when you put these two side by side, the S24 FE does feel pretty lazy by comparison. It does have a faster.
I mean, it's not the version of the S24 Plus, which is a good phone. It's a really good phone. So I wouldn't even call it lazy. It just basically changes the chip, and not the chip, same chip, just the not the screen. I kind of changed the screen and the camera just for a little bit. All right, so this is the Samsung Galaxy S23 So it's kind of sad that the Xiaomi is going to win this.
Faster chip, and it does have
Oh
wireless
yes,
charging.
it does change the chip. It has an Exynos chip. I thought they put the thing in it, but Exynos is not that bad. Also, you know, the people who buy this phone are not going to be working those chips too hard. Like Snapchat does not take that much time to use. Okay, it works on the Samsung Galaxy S10e. Will work on this phone too. So honestly,
charging, which the Xiaomi doesn't, but it just feels like Xiaomi has care into their device. The 14T's got a higher resolution screen, a large battery, faster charging, more RAM, even just
I would like to see faster charging come to Samsung phones.
The screen bezels, Xiaomi feels definitively ahead. Not to mention, this is the standard 14T, which is quite a lot cheaper than Samsung. Once you get to the 14T Pro, which is more similar,
let's see how much the Xiaomi 14T cost. Maybe it's different over in UK, but this is US. So Xiaomi 14T, Temu does not count. That's not the 14T. Oh, you can get it 512 gigabytes on eBay for $522. So it's not that much. So like a $20 difference. Come on.
Also, I was expecting Samsung's zoom camera to be significantly better than Xiaomi's, since this is a 3x optical zoom and this is optical zoom, but when I tested it and I found that it wasn't, I looked up the specs only to find that Xiaomi's zoom camera has a 50 megapixel resolution. Samsung's has 8, which just feels really rough for something of this price. And now, just before the overall phone of the year,
all right, let's go.
Someone has to take the L.
The
Last year it was
Spoon
Apple
Award
with the iPhone SE and Google with their first Pixel Fold. Both very prolific devices that the whole industry knew were coming.
Yeah, the iPhone SE. SE. I mean, it was out for 2 years already. They still haven't updated it. So that's just kind of pathetic. So I guess it should win this award again, since it's been out for like 3 years almost. So hopefully when Apple gets around to rebranding the iPhone 14 as the iPhone SE, they can win an award.
Coming. This year we have something that I don't think anyone saw coming, really. So HMD, the company who you most likely know for their Nokia phones, they decided this time around to make something called
the pink phone, the Skyline phone, reminds me of the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, like the pink color, the square camera.
Skyline.
I mean, look at it. It's a square. I mean,
horrendously mediocre device. I mean, first of all,
look at those bunny ears.
Did you just pay with PayPal?
Yes, it keeps my info safe, even at this shady lemonade stand.
Who are you calling shady?
Come on.
Mister?
Oh, like this is fresh squeeze. Give me a break.
Oof. But look at those bunny ears. Like, why would you do that? I mean, this is what I was talking about over on the Pixel too. But it's even worse when it's a square and then it's a curved edge like this. This reminds me of some orange phone that kind of failed a long time ago. I think I was like 6.
Design. Who decided that the combination of a sharp angular body and then a rounded screen was the way to go?
I don't know. Like, when they're trying to cut bread with that phone, it looks awful.
Picked the worst parts of both decisions and merged them together into a phone that looks even worse than the sum of its parts. The thing literally looks like you started cutting out the approximate shape of a smartphone and then halfway through realized that you couldn't actually be bothered. The cameras sound good on paper.
I mean, they probably have that annoying boom sound on every cheap phone that gets sent to me. And look at that software too. I mean, it looks half-baked.
Tuning is bad. You have to work to get great images out of it. And
work,
you don't get
work is a good thing.
The 7 years of software support of Samsung or even the 4 years of Xiaomi. You get 2 here.
Well, I mean, a few years ago, that's what Samsung was giving too. So, yeah.
It wasn't enough. It gets pretty laggy fairly often. It's got this horrible tinny vibration.
Yeah, it also has that stock Android interface, and I've played around with stock Android before, and I realized stock Android is terrible. This is probably why all these people are like, "Oh my goodness, Android sucks." I'm like, it's probably because you're not using a decent, a decent phone. Like stock Android has some of the weirdest looking UI I've ever seen. Also have that like ridiculous vertical app drawer, and everything's Google, and that's fine. Unless the DOJ wants to make that illegal or something, which would be kind of funny, seeing as Google's the one who paid for the development of the technology, so they should be able to get the fruit of their own labor by having the applications built into that. But I like my Samsung applications, and it's really nice of Google to let Samsung do that without having the DOJ have to interfere with that. Them to do that. It's really interesting how that worked out. By themselves without needing a court ruling. Anyway, back to the video.
Vibration motor. Put it this way, I'm not surprised that you can already get this thing for like 30 to 40%
I think you're gonna say $30 because honestly, if people are selling the Barbie phone, which isn't even a smartphone, it's just like a dinged pink stupid flip phone for $100. You used to get this Nokia HMD Skyline phone for $40. Let's see. You maybe give this to a kid to a bad. All right, let's see. This is the Nokia. Oh, 400. Okay, first of all, I'm shocked that you can buy this in the United States. Also, we should kick them out of the country. No, this is wrong. You should not be able to sell this for $500. This should be illegal. $500 for a phone that looks like you stuffed it inside of a box. Windows Phone called and went back from 2011. And the Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra also said they want their design back from 20 and 20. So, no. Four times lossless zoom, people. Again, with the whole lossless zoom thing, where they say, hey, well, we crop in from 50 to half 12, which anyone can say that. They can say, well, 1 megapixel is now the standard bearer. So, look, Apple for it, I'll criticize HMD for it too. Equal criticism for both. You can say you have lossless zoom unless you have an actual zoom camera.
It's only been out for a few months. Hardly.
Wait a second. He's saying 40% off. So if he's found that thing for 40% off and it's being sold at $500, that's 1.4 times 500. Please don't. No. They sold this thing for $700. $700. Anyone? No, that should be illegal. Anyone who bought that phone, I mean, they should have an instant recall for that if they want to, and they should be able to pick any phone in the store that they want. That's wrong.
Manages to deliver, which is why we need to give it its own wooden spoon.
You used to get smacked with the wooden spoon.
Okay, so what is the best flagship phone of 2024? If you just truly want the best of the best. Well, honestly, I think the OnePlus 12 is absolutely amazing for slightly less money than the rest. The Google Pixel 9 Pro XL is very good for people who are a bit less into...
I mean, you don't even get DeX, which is sad. I mean, they did bring some type of version for Secure Folder to Android, which would be really funny, because wouldn't that mean I would get 2 instances of Secure Folder on my phone? That'd be fun.
Gaming and more into AI supercharged photography. But this has felt like a particularly great year for Samsung software. They've gone quite suddenly from having one of the weakest software skins to one of the...
All the people always criticize TouchWiz. TouchWiz was great. Okay, I played with it when I was a kid. TouchWiz was amazing. You had all these features that you had. It was like feature. In fact, people even criticized Samsung in 2012 for launching an ad where it looked like some man was quote unquote stalking this woman when he was just playing with his watch. You had these features. The watch even had a camera on it. When Samsung had TouchWiz, Samsung innovated. All right, their watches, the actual watches, not the camera remote. The actual watch had a physical camera bolted to it. They even was square. So Samsung did the square before Apple even made a watch 3 years before. All right, Samsung innovated. You had the whole hover touch thing. You had the edge panels. You had all these new features that are coming in, heart rate scanners. Samsung Galaxy S4, S5 were packed with features. Then they took them away after Samsung Galaxy S6. They brought them back to Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, and then they started switching over to Samsung Experience UI. They cut the battery first, 33,000 milliamp hours on the Samsung Galaxy S8. That's fine because they just had the whole exploding phone thing. But then Samsung Galaxy Note 9 had Samsung Experience 9.5. Samsung Experience 9.5 wasn't really that good. No one really liked it that much, but so they switched over to One UI, and now they started taking features away. After the Note 9, get to the Note 10. What goes on the Note 10? Well, the headphone jack is gone, and then the Note 20, and then the Note 20 Ultra, headphone jack and micro SD card slot is gone from the base model. Get the Ultra, and then you keep moving on. There's no Note 21, so you go. That's actually the last note. Actually, there's no Note 21, Note 22, Note 23. They switch over to the Ultra, so the S21 Ultra, which it doesn't really matter because I'm thinking, well, there's going to be a phone next year. Nope, there's no new phone next year. So it's on to S22 Ultra. I really wanted that phone. No SD card slot. No heart rate scanner. They took all these features away. And Samsung, I guess you could say, the feature. I like to see the feature creep return back. With TouchWiz. Now, could TouchWiz been better animated? Yes, but TouchWiz was truly one of Samsung's best software skins.
One of the strongest.
I think it's the only one to ever jump OSs until One did, because One UI is also available on Samsung Galaxy S tablets. Tablet computers and physical computers too. It's not on this computer here because this is my this is my first non-Samsung laptop. I've always had Samsung laptops, from Chromebooks to actual Windows laptops.
Even though not every piece of hardware they've made this year has been a hit, their top-end S24 Ultra does come out as a very immediate topper.
I mean, it is good. S24 Ultra is good. I do wish A, that there were more apps available to use. I mean, there are lots of apps, but actually good apps available to use, and B, that the battery life is better.
Some of their Samsung AI stuff is actually useful. Battery life is amazing. The S Pen is...
I don't know. My S Pen is now stuck in here and is held together with glue, and the pin tip doesn't work, so I need to buy a new one, which is very expensive if you want the Bluetooth accessories.
Physically baked inside, and also this anti-reflective...
Whoa, look at that screen. I don't know why everyone's talking about this anti-reflective screen. A, I haven't really seen it that well in action in personal use. And B, let's say that you get stranded on an island, there's no cellular reception, but you do have your phone. Like, how are you supposed to signal the planes now? Like, it's over for you. Also, I do like this does feel like you're feeling. Oh, where's the camera too? It's really good. Also, the iPhone with its curved edges here, and that stupid pill-looking watch thing there. Samsung just looks a lot better when watching content, even terrible content like Bring It On, which Bring It On the red teams don't want. All right, this is what you get for having Tubi. See, this is why I should probably download Disney Plus and Netflix. But, Disney Plus and Netflix cost money. Therefore, you have to use the stuff that's on Tubi. And Tubi sucks. All right. That's
display they put onto it is amazing. Don't underestimate. All of this is happening while I would go as far as to say Apple has floundered.
Yes, Apple, you flounder. You deserve a wooden spoon, and you got your wooden spoon.
The iPhone camera does come out. The battery improvements were...
Oh, yeah, this is funny. The S24 Ultra, I don't know how they did this, but they crushed the iPhone. Look at this. 34% battery life, 8 hours long screen on time. I don't know how they did that. My phone was like almost dying at 11 hours screen off time, 3 hours screen on time. So maybe I got bad software or something. And this iPhone 16 is at 0%. So it is 30% higher.
Significant. Basically, no other hardware change. The thing is Apple Intelligence, which is both very early right now and also coming to last year's Pros anyway. Also,
it's not even there yet. So, you don't get to judge a phone by the features that might arrive.
Don't really like iOS 18. I feel like the two key things that have changed...
iOS is terrible too. Like, I was seeing someone, Linus Tech Tips, was playing around with the software. I was like, he just reminded me of all the reasons why I hate iOS. The text selection, the keyboard. I mean, iOS is absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know how people understand how to use it or how it gets used with, especially how it's top of teens who aren't even that tech literate. Oh, guys, iOS is fine. It's easy to use. When 3 applications are being used: Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. So honestly, you can make an OS with just those 3 applications and iMessage, I guess, and you'll be fine. And B, I guess they don't play around in the settings a lot because iOS, absolutely ridiculous. Trash. So, I mean, honestly, the iPhone should probably get the wooden spoon every year. So no awards for it. But they get an award. So there we go.
have changed are one, the control center, which makes zero sense to me. I just don't understand how Apple decided that the key users want in the next update is a full screen music widget, even though they have a music widget here.
I mean, maybe people wanted to bring back the joy of the iPod. Of course, that would be, calling back something that no one has used in the past 15 years. Unless you're like a kid with the little iPod thing. But that's ran iOS anyway, so it's not like it was retro or anything.
And you scroll down another page and you've just got an expanded list of the same controls that you also still have on your homepage. Why? And then you got the new Photos app, beyond confusing and...
Oh yes, someone said, let me see if I can find this, but someone said, Ashley St. Clair said that, Ashley St. Clair said that the people who designed the iPhone new photo application should be locked up and thrown into prison. And I told her once again, I keep having to introduce her to this thing called Android. I don't know why she won't use it. Let's see if I can find it. I said Ashley meet S24 Ultra, S24 Ultra meet Ashley, because you can have any photo application you want on a Samsung phone. The gallery application actually looks good. I don't know why people don't like the S24, the iPhone photo application looked fine to me. But I mean, she is an iPhone user, so she would be the expert, which is kind of a sad thing. Imagine being an expert iPhone user. It's kind of sad. So let's see if I can find it. There we go. Oh, yes. So hope you guys can see this on the screen. Ashley, S24 Ultra, S24 Ultra, Ashley. She asked for the people to lock up who's responsible, whoever is responsible for the new iOS Photos app, and throw away the keys. So I guess it's really bad. It has to be awful to have someone locked up and put in prison for it for the rest of their lives. Kind of bad. But maybe she just doesn't know how to use it.
Slower to navigate. And so while obviously choosing a phone nowadays is highly based on ecosystem, if we put that to the side, who made the best phone this year? I would say Samsung. Until I tested this
up of all these awards. I mean, maybe it's the circle camera bumps. I mean, look how big that is. That's at least 40% of the back of the phone.
Body of this phone was a little less sticky, but apart from that, Vivo's Origin OS is so fast, so smooth.
Oh, I like that transition. Why? Wait, is this one app for anime? I don't know if that's anime. I couldn't tell anime if you locked me in a room and forced me to watch it for 8 hours against my will. Man.
Before, the camera is shockingly good. It's like the best parts from every phone camera put together. The
you got the zoom from Samsung. You got the I guess Apple's good at something. So whatever Apple's good at, you got that. And, you got the AI from Google, which I do like that add-in fixture thing. It means you don't have to have these random people standing around taking pictures for you when they could just, run off with your phone and steal it. And, some people have it unlocked because then they can make calls and then spoof them and then extort your family members for millions of dollars because you let them try to take a picture of you. It could happen. Definitely.
Amazing. When I use this phone, it genuinely feels like I've just inserted a cheat access to next year's device. It feels naughty. And so it brings me great pleasure to announce that the overall champion of 2024 is in fact the Vivo X200 Pro. The bad news is it's not easy to get hold of in countries like the UK and the US. The good news is that if this phone really appeals to you, then the Oppo Find X8 Pro is really similar and much easier to get. It's the same parent company making both, and so the core DNA behind them is pretty much identical.
It's kind of funny how the same parent company makes the phones to just put different software skins on each.
Find out how.
So those are the best phones of 2020, and we've been on for an hour and 30 minutes, so we can end the stream now. God bless, and tech talk to you later. Oh, and also we will be launching a new video. Oh wait, let me press cancel.